friend.
Well, you're not only visiting Cayman Islands, you're visiting at least 3 islands now.
This is amazing.
Yeah, right. You're doing a regional tour. Well, welcome. Actually,
my name is Nakinji.
Nakinji, and where are you from?
I'm from Bermuda, and I am from the Bermuda Toastmasters Club and On the Rock Club.
Welcome.
So everybody, there's a chat button on the bottom. We love to know where you're coming from, so put it in the chat. Let us know. I see some folk from the Cayman Islands here. We've got Bermuda, we've got Maryland. Where else? Okay, I see some folks from Jamaica as well. Of course, you know I like to scan through our participants. So I see DTM Shirley. I see the name. So welcome.
Where is my Zoom room? All right, there we are.
I don't see any persons writing in the chat, so I hope I don't miss anybody when we do our special hail up of where you're from.
They can't.
I think that chat to everyone maybe blocked. I don't know.
Ah, okay, all righty.
I can turn it on for now. So let me turn it on.
Yes, please. Thanks.
Okay, so it's turned on. So please resend your messages.
Yes.
And
you have all of 1 minute.
Yes, all of 1 minute.
Coffee?
All right.
Coffee.
All right. Okay. See waiting room. All right. Let me just check on the Facebook Live and then we can. Okay.
And how are the folks on the Facebook Live? Madam Dipti, there.
They haven't started messaging yet.
Okay, that's all right.
All right, so let's go ahead and get started.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited to see all of you, and the numbers are slowly but surely increasing, which is a good sign. And I am not checking the Facebook Live, but hopefully those numbers are increasing as well. I'm very excited about this session. This session actually came about with a discussion with our Division B Director, Kimberly. So I'd like to acknowledge her first of all and say a very special thank you for us being able to host this. And the reason we were discussing this is we have a lot of new Toastmasters and new clubs in Division B, and I guess around the region. And we're very familiar with how our club elections work, and we're very familiar with our club leadership. But what about beyond that? We have our district elections coming up, and there's so much more that you can do, because remember, Toastmasters International is where leaders are made. And so we feel like we needed to have this discussion and talk about the positions beyond the club and the importance of getting involved in leadership beyond the clubs. A few housekeeping rules. We love to see you on camera, so don't be camera shy. That gives us a sense of our audience and helps us to read your reactions. You will be on mute, but you can send in questions and your comments through our division director, and she'll be directing them to me. We will do our best to address them as much as possible. Now, we have an end of 7:30, but if the discussion is spicy enough, we do give ourselves a 15-minute window to 7:45 if some of you would like to remain and ask more questions and chat with us, because we have two very distinguished panelists this evening. And I would like to say a special welcome to those who are joining us around the region. We have someone from Maryland, all the way in the US joining us. We have the Cayman Islands, we have Bermuda, we have Trinidad and Tobago, we have Jamaica, we have Curacao. If I miss you, don't be upset. I will recognize you later. Just let our division director know so I can hail you up at the end. But as I said, we have two very distinguished panelists with us. And I want to give a brief introduction to both of them before we start our session. Now, the first panelist you're going to be hearing from is distinguished Toastmaster Essie Gardner. I first met distinguished Toastmaster Essie, I want to say more than 15 years ago, maybe.
Yes.
It was when I was first starting my Toastmasters journey. Our club here in Cayman was very new, and we decided we needed to have some interaction, and we sent a SOS over to Jamaica, and Essie was one of the Toastmasters who came over and spent a weekend with us. It was fabulous, and that was my first introduction to DTM Essie. Since then, she has served as our district director, and that I know that her Toastmasters experience goes even before we were a district, going into the council. And for those of you who are familiar with that process, you know where I'm coming from. And she's also served as our Region 8 advisor in 2017, I believe. And Essie is the communications and marketing manager with the Jamaica Tourist Board, and I'm very excited to have her share on her experience, but also on the roles specifically for the district. We also have with us DTM Godalys, and I met DTM Godalys in Haiti in 2017 when she was serving as the district director then at our district conference. And since then, she has served, in addition to serving as our district director, she's now Region 8 advisor, recently appointed. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And she's had a long history with Toastmasters since the age of 18. So she's a director for Proquido. She's a university lecturer, and she serves in an extremely important leadership role, ladies and gentlemen, as the mother of her 18-year-old son. So welcome to our distinguished panelists, Essie and Godalys. We're so happy to have you. And I'm going to start with DTM Essie. And I'm going to, first of all, ask you to share a little bit on our district positions and the importance of those district positions, because one of the objectives for this particular webinar is to help people understand what these roles comprise of, what they entail, but also to share your experience so people can actually connect it with the soft skills necessary in order for them to develop and grow. Because I think sometimes people think that leadership within Toastmasters is just leadership within Toastmasters, and they don't realize that it can broaden your horizons even to your professional and to your professional or to your career. So I want to start with you, DTM Essie, if you can share with us on the district roles.
Thank you so much, distinguished Toastmaster Jackman. You know, I've been in Toastmasters a while, and every year we seem to come upon a sort of roadblock when it comes to finding volunteers to serve beyond the club. We have several of us, including some of the persons who are in your audience, have tried different things to see how we could get persons to be willing to serve. And like you said, sometimes it is a matter of persons that are new and they don't know what opportunities there are, or they do not see the benefits to themselves. So I wanted to spend this time. I was very happy to agree to spend this time talking about the roles for the district leadership and how it is that persons can benefit from it. I want to start at the beginning by saying the Toastmasters' core values are integral to everything that we do. Integrity, and we keep forgetting that integrity is the first core value. What is your intention for wanting to lead? Is it because you want a designation to get to a point? Or is it that you see where you can help others and yourself in becoming a better leader, a stronger community coordinator? What is your intention in wanting to be a leader? Then there's respect. Do you have respect for self and for others? Sometimes we say we have respect, but then when we look at our actions, you wonder, is this really a respectful action? So if you are the finance manager, for example, are you showing respect to your members when there is a delay in getting to your chores, your activities? Respect comes in different ways. Then there's service. How am I serving my members? And of course, always excellence comes across all of it. Those 4 core values you will probably find in almost all organizations. Toastmasters International has them as the core values, and it underpins everything that they do, that we do, whether it is at the club level, the district level, region level, or international. Let me begin by establishing that there is a district council and there's a district executive committee, the DEC and the council. And sometimes as our members serve at the club level, they do not realize that they're part of the district council. The district council comprises all the executive members, plus all presidents and vice presidents of education. But many of our presidents and vice presidents education do not realize that they have a say in what happens with the district. As part of the council, they have a vote. And too often we go to district meetings and we do not have half of the clubs represented with their votes. You know, this virtual meeting situation is probably giving us the opportunity to try and get as many persons as possible into the upcoming district council meeting. But club presidents and vice presidents education really need to understand that they have a say in how our district is run. The district executive committee, on the other hand, comprises the district director, the program quality director, the club growth director, the public relations manager, administration manager, finance manager, division directors, area directors, and the immediate past district director. I'm going to take them one at a time and give just a brief view of what each role entails. As district leaders, there are some common responsibility. The district leaders are to uphold the governing documents of Toastmasters International. too often our area directors, even division directors, and even members of the other executive members are not familiar with the documents that govern Toastmasters International. How then can they uphold the tenets of those documents? That's something that we have to get across to our members, that they need to become a little bit more involved. They need to read a little bit more so that they are very familiar with the governing documents. District leaders also foster an atmosphere of enjoyment, teamwork, and dedication in the spirit of learning, growing, and achieving. I always hear when I go to, whether it's district level events or international events, have fun while doing it. The leaders, have to create this sense of enjoyment that our members want to participate, our members want to be a part of the camaraderie, want to be a part of the change to take the district to the next level. Our district leaders also work to fulfill the district mission. They strive to achieve recognition in the district recognition program. And one of the things that is absolutely critical as a district leader is that you have to prepare your successor to assume office. Sometimes we are so caught in what is it that we need to do to complete that we forget that we have to prepare someone to take over our roles. So let's look a little bit at the area and division directors. Area directors work directly with clubs to ensure the clubs meet the needs of the members. It's the members' needs that we're trying to meet. And the area directors will work directly with the club leaders to make sure that the members' needs are being met. Area directors seek to expand the network of clubs, while division directors provide district support to clubs and members through the area directors. Division directors also assist with the training of ADs and club officers. So you can see that there are differences. The area directors are going to be the persons on the ground working very closely with the clubs, while the division director is supervising all of that and supporting the area directors and giving them what is required to get the job done. Sometimes as area directors, we take on the role of area directors and we do not realize that we are now part of district leadership. We are no longer representing just one club. We are perhaps representing anywhere from 4 to 6 clubs. And there are some responsibilities that you have to do as a district leader. Area directors need to understand that. Area directors and division directors. Another role in the district, at the district level, is the administration manager, as well as the finance manager. These are 2 distinct positions. The admin manager is responsible for recording, organizing accurate minutes of the DEC and council meetings, as well as is responsible for all district correspondence. The finance manager is to help the district director to develop a realistic budget based on the needs of the district members and the available resources. The finance manager will be trained in Toastmasters financial protocols so that we follow the guidelines set by International. The finance manager develops monthly profit and loss statements as well for those to be submitted. I want to pause here for a minute. While I was district governor, it was called then, I make no apologies to the fact that I am not a financially savvy person, meaning that I do not know the rules for keeping accounts. But the district governor before me used a particular gentleman for being the finance manager. And I knew without a shadow of a doubt that I needed that person to be by my side when I was district governor. Not only is that person very versed in the aspects of finance, but he took the time to help me understand, so that even as I'm submitting documents to International, I knew what I was submitting. It wasn't just a rubber stamping. So persons who are going to serve as a finance manager, you need to not only know the technical aspects of financing, but you also need to be able to help your district director, because believe it or not, the district director is the only person with the authority to sign a financial contract on behalf of the district. So the finance manager really has a particular role to play in supporting the district director. Really, really key. The public relations manager is another role that is critical to the success of the district. In our district, we have, how many countries are in the district of Godalys? About
27
countries. We are spread across the Caribbean, from as far north as Turks and Caicos to as far south as Guyana or Suriname. Are we in Suriname yet?
Yes, Suriname was added this year.
Right. So we are across a large expanse of water. And this one team is going to do what is required. The public relations manager has a responsibility to creating a communication plan that will facilitate the transfer of information from the district through to the members. So whether that member is in Turks and Caicos or in Suriname or Guyana, the PRM has to ensure that critical information, gets to the club and the members. But not only that, the PRM has a responsibility for creating a public relations and publicity plan with the aim of attracting new members and fostering a positive image for Toastmasters. Too often we hear the term that Toastmasters is a secret. It's the biggest secret. Our public relations managers need to take this on full steam so that, especially in our area, Toastmasters does not remain a secret. And the public relations manager is the brand steward for the district. A couple of years ago, when we were changing the Toastmasters brand ambassadors were identified and trained, and those brand managers are still very, very effective. The public relations managers, though, are brand stewards for the district and need to use the resources that are available to them to make sure that the brand is kept intact throughout the district. Then we get to the trio. And I'm using the trio as one, even though I'm going to identify each role. The trio are three persons working on different elements, but they in effect serve as one. There is a club growth director whose special responsibility is to, yes, they do handle brand management as well with the PRM, but they also work very closely with the region advisor to meet the district's membership and club building role. The club growth director also works with division directors and area directors to ensure membership and club growth objectives are met. Each of these persons, the CGD, the district director, and the PQD, they need to establish a team to develop and implement a marketing strategy. The club growth director needs to establish a team to develop and implement a marketing strategy. A challenge that we have found is that part of the reason why persons are not wanting to serve is that they do not feel a part of the decision making. And this is an ideal opportunity for the district leaders to be able to take different people under their wings and help to mold them so that by the time election comes around in a year, you have 3 or 4 persons who are able to say, look, I would like to go for this role. One of the thoughts in my mind is that if each year, each trio member or each district leader will opt to work closely with 3 or 4 persons at different points during the year so that persons can understudy them, persons can understand what the role is, that will go a far way in getting persons interested in becoming district leaders themselves. So that was one part of the trio, the club growth director. Another part of the trio is the program quality director. This person is responsible for the education and training goals of the district. No one person can do it. Again, I speak about building teams. I speak about coaching others, getting people to learn what it is that you're doing so that they can become interested. You can spread the work. The PQD develops campaigns to encourage members to achieve educational goals, not just emails to say this campaign is on. Make sure you get your educational goals so that you can get this ribbon or get this prize. No, there has to be other ways to encourage members to achieve their educational goals that are going to also let them see what it means to lead. The PQD plans, organizes, and directs the district training program. Again, not a one-man job. Especially in our situation where we have 27 countries, it means that you have to identify persons in country to help deliver the training, but it has to be a consistent training. So how you get that in place is totally up to you and the PQD and his or her team. The program quality director is also responsible for the district, all aspects of the district conference. This year, regrettably, we are not going to be hosting a face-to-face conference, but that is part of the development of the PQD, identifying a conference team, guiding the conference team to make sure that when our members come to conference, they have an experience second to none. There are those of us who will not miss a conference for anything, because that's where the camaraderie builds. That's where you learn the diversity of our district, that there are so many languages, but we all aim to communicate. So when you hear somebody from Haiti who speaks predominantly French, but because they are in the region, the district setting, the district conference setting, they are going to attempt to speak English. And some of our English speakers who are going to attempt to speak French. Then we have those persons from the Dutch-speaking Caribbean who will speak Papiamento, and not many others outside of the Dutch Caribbean will speak Papiamento. But we learn 1 and 2 words, and we're able to talk about douche, right, Godalys, and all of that. So yes, you learn about the diversity of the Caribbean. You learn how to help each other grow. You learn that I may call something Guinea in Jamaica, and in Trinidad it is something else, but it's the same fruit. That we are different, but there are so many commonalities to keep us together. And so when you get into a kind of leader, that kind of camaraderie building, you automatically want to be a part of the change. You automatically want to help to make the decisions that are going to take this district to the next level. The PQD also coordinates and supervises the international speech contest at the district level. But of course, you know that the international speech contest starts from the club level. So the PQD would have to send out information very early so that from club through area, through division to district, there's a consistency in the rule, in ensuring that all of us obey the rules. And the third member of the trio is the district director. And you would think that with the PQD, who is handling education and training, and a CGD who is handling club and membership growth, that the trio, the district director, really doesn't have a lot to do. You'd be so wrong. Because a district director has the very, very critical role of overseeing the day-to-day operations of the district. That person has responsibility for finance, and that person has responsibility for handling all human resource issues. Any conflicts in the district will have to at some point be handled by the district director. So the district director is, in effect, the biggest cheerleader because he or she has to make sure that all members are inspired and motivated to get their goals. Remember, I'd said that the district director is the only person authorized to sign contracts on behalf of the district. And with the finance manager in tow, we'll be able to make sure that these contracts that are being signed are in the best interest of the district. Of course, the district director is a principal linked to Toastmasters International, as all reports and plans are submitted to the international organization by the district director. There are some soft skills that are absolutely essential to serve as district leaders. I encourage anybody who is going to seek to serve to have an open mind. We are different people, we have different realities. We cannot decide that because it doesn't work for me, it cannot work for you. You have to have an open mind. You have to believe that each member can grow and can contribute. We are not all the same. Again, I say that we're not all the same, but each of us can contribute something. And as a leader, it is part of our responsibility to see where the strengths are in each member and to make sure that you use the strengths from one person and the strengths from another to lift the whole. As leaders, we have to be committed. I keep saying to persons that it does not make sense to just aim to be the district director. It is best if you can do some other roles first so that you learn so much about Toastmasters that by the time you are district director, you have everything under your belt. You know a lot. So it is not a one-year commitment. It really is not. And the way Toastmasters manage their business, it is always best, well, it is recommended that you, especially for the trio, you start at club growth, move to PQD, and then to the district director. That way you are able to help each person on your team because you would have gone through it before. So commitment is essential. Patience is absolutely critical. We are not all born with the same level of patience. But as leaders, we have to practice. We have to dig deep. We have to have a source. In my case, because of my Christian principles, I dig deep through the Bible to get that patience that's required. And believe me, it's not always necessary. I remember there when I was PQD and the district director, there was a particular person who was a part of the team. That person had a difficult personality, a very difficult personality. But we were not going to just throw her under the bus. We had several meetings with her trying to just make sure that we were all on the same page. We didn't have anybody doing rogue dances and so on. And it tested our patience. But at the end of the day, now, many, many years later, when we see that individual, the hugs that we get because we did not give up on her, we knew that she had value to add and we were going to get to that value, even if we had to dig deeper for her. So you have to have patience. You have to believe in people. You have to ensure that you respect people and that your own integrity is intact. And above all, please, as a leader, ensure that you are having fun. It is not, you're not going to be effective if you cannot have fun in the leadership role. My wish for District 81 and our leadership. I would like for us to take succession planning really, really seriously. And I mentioned earlier that ideally for me, I'd like each of the district leaders to determine to work with 3 or 4 people throughout their year to see how you can help that person, pull up that person to become a leader. I'd also like for us to be able to attract leaders who are creative, who know that they will not have all the decisions, but will gather people around them who will think outside the box. And it's not that the leaders are always going to have the information, are not always going to have the answers. But because you are opening up to other persons, suggesting creative ways of dealing with challenges, you are building more leaders. And for me, what is also critical is that we must have mentors, leadership mentors. We talk about coaching people for speeches, for contests, and so on. We need to coach people for leaders too. So look at the people around you who have leadership skills. How can I help that person to lift their level of leadership? Especially in Pathways, there's one of the level 2 projects is about identifying your leadership style. When you are mentoring a leader, you have to know what the person's strengths are and be able to draw out the best. So these are 3 areas that I think I would love to see my district work on: succession planning, attracting leadership, and mentoring for leaders.
And that's actually, DTM Essie, that is actually quite interesting to hear, and for our members to hear, because I've been taking copious notes and also listening out and watching out for the questions from our attendees. And just a reminder for everyone, you can send your questions to our Division B Director, Kimberly, and then she sends them to us. So I like the fact that you talk about the skills that are required for us to do these particular leadership roles, but also what you would like to see moving forward for our district. I also like the fact that you are reminding our club leaders that they need to pay attention to the whole process as well, because they are very important to it. And you're right. Anybody who goes to district and sits when you're doing the business meeting, we see what happens when club leadership does not do what they're supposed to. And I have a question for you from one of our attendees who'd like to know what's the difference between being appointed and being elected. So
in District 81, we took the decision some years ago that we were going to appoint area directors. That is, we were going to have a team that would search out persons who could serve as area directors, and we would take them through the training and appoint them as area directors, as opposed to elected officers who have to be nominated and go through the election process. What's the difference? The only difference is that the district appoints one set, says, Annick, I'd like you to serve. Are you willing to serve? Go through these documents with you, go train you, and you are then an area director, as opposed to being elected. Now, persons may say, if I'm not elected, does that mean that tomorrow, if I fall out of grace with somebody, I can be fired? And I'm going to use that term.
Right.
And as opposed to elected, you have to be voted out or so on.
Yeah.
Yes, there is that kind of thinking that because you were not elected, it's easier to put you on the sideline. Thankfully, that has not been the case. With District 81, we are not at that point where we are telling people, I put you in so I can take you out. And I hope we never get to that place.
Right.
I would like to think that we believe that each of us have something to offer. And if there are conflicts, and there will be conflicts, there are ways to work it out. There's mediation. So that doesn't come into play.
Okay. And I'm getting some more questions, but I'm going to ask you one more, and then we're going to move over to DTM and Godalys. So the question I have here is in regards to the financial manager, if they have to be from the same place as the district director. Is that the preferred?
In District 81, we took the decision, again, many years ago. In fact, the finance manager is one of those positions that's appointed, because it is difficult to have the finance manager, say, in Jamaica and the district director in Barbados, because you have to co-sign documents. You have to remember now the finance manager can't just do things on his or her own. It's the district director who needs to sign off on a lot of these things. So if you have persons in different countries, it's going to make it very, very difficult. We actually attempted it the first 2 years or so of our existence as a district. And because of the challenges we were facing, we opted to have the district director appoint a finance manager from his or her country to make life much easier.
Okay.
So that's the recommendation.
Okay, understood. Well, thank you very much, DTMSC, and we hopefully will be able to talk some more. But before I go over to our second panelist, DTM Godalys, I would like to recognize our district director, Fabiola. Welcome. And PQD Brenda, we're very happy to have you. We also have some division directors and area directors from various countries on as well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And then finally, I have two other countries to recognize. Haiti, I think Pierre is doing a watch party, and Guyana. So we love it. Keep sending everything through to Division B Director Kimberly so that we can make sure to recognize you. And we're really, really happy to have you all. And now I'm going to go over to DTM Godalys, because we were just hearing about the district positions and what is required. But you're now appointed into a new role, and I want you to talk us through that. What is required? What got you interested? What is the process for that? So, DTM Godalys, I'm going to hand over control to you at this point.
Thank you very much, DTM Annick. Before starting talking about explaining the Region's Advisor role, I want to share with you and the audience the reason why I chose to apply for Region Advisor. After serving District 81, I served on district level for 5 consecutive years, starting with the office of District Secretary. I have to say that I've learned a lot. To me, serving as a district leader gave me the opportunity to grow as a person, especially in my professional life. So I became fixated, you can say, with learning and applying those skills I learned outside of Toastmasters. To me, that's the biggest advantage that the Toastmasters program has. It gave me the opportunity to apply those skills immediately outside of the club or the leadership setting. After my year as district director, I recognized how much I've learned in terms of being mentored by so many past district leaders, by our region advisors throughout the years, and how much overview I've gained in terms of strategic planning, in terms of coaching, in terms of training others in the areas that they needed to be trained in. And to me, those skills cannot be wasted. And I'm not saying that's the reason why I ran for Region Advisor, no. But I believe that when you have the opportunity to learn so much, it's great to use every opportunity you can get to pass that on to others. And during my year as immediate past district director, I had the opportunity to do that. And doing so, I was encouraged to apply for Region Advisor. At first, I thought 5 years serving as district level, that was a long time. I needed a rest. Honestly, as a district leader, you work very hard. I remember when I was elected Club Road Director, the election was in Haiti in 2015. The next day after the conference, we had transition meetings. And I was expected to present a plan. I didn't know I had to present a plan. So when the district director asked me, okay, what is your plan for this year? I could share a couple of ideas. They said the ideas were great, but I wasn't feeling comfortable. I felt as if someone threw me in a river and told me, start swimming. That's how I felt. So to me, I made it a point to help as much as possible, to help the leaders, of course, giving them the space to learn and experience the position and their own growth and development by themselves, but be there to give them a helping hand when needed. So when I was encouraged to apply for region advisor, and the encouragement came from several directions, I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is a chance to really put into practice and again commit myself to teach others. Why? Because the region advisor's role is an advisory role, and you, as a region advisor, you are expected to support the district leaders in the region in fulfilling the district mission, which is to build clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. And if I relate that mission to my experience when starting as club road director, I wish that I had right then the opportunity to know of to have that person holding my hand throughout that experience when I was club road director. There was a regional advisor, but I have to say that the role of regional advisor is a role that Toastmaster International has developed throughout the years. So now the guidelines and the resources for the regional advisors are more developed, and they are available. So it's easier to plan. It's easier to share and to know what's expected and what you can share with the different positions as resources that they can use in their offices. So as a region advisor, you get appointed to a region. In our case, or in my case, I'm region advisor for Region 8. And for regions with 8 districts or less, TI will appoint one region advisor. And if the region has 9 districts or more, the region gets appointed 2 region advisors. Most of the region advisors, most of the time, they will you will have a partition of one region advisor getting 4 and the other getting 5 districts. As a region advisor, you will help, or you must help, the district directors, the program quality directors, the club growth directors, and the public relations managers to maximize their performance while helping them identify strategies to achieve the district mission. And how do you do that? You help them, first of all, by develop a plan for supporting their districts, their leaders, and very specifically helping them with the development of the district success plan. You will also assess their abilities to achieve the district missions, and you will train them in those areas, especially where they need support in order to be able to achieve the district mission. But you have to be able also to leverage your personal competencies. In my case, I was aware of my strengths, especially in marketing and training. And I also plan to use those strengths in order to fortify the districts which were appointed to me. Marketing support is very essential when you are a region advisor, because when you focus on the district mission, which is to build new clubs, that means that you have to be able to sell the Toastmasters concept. In this case, training the club growth director to build new clubs, or that he or she can chair the club building committee, or direct the club building committee to go out and find new club leagues and build those clubs in a specific time in order to reach the district mission is very important activity that the region advisor has to accomplish. Coaching, like I said in the trio, in order for them to be able to develop the district success plan, so they will also be able to guide their team, and in this case I mean the district executive committee, to adopt the plan in order to be able to carry it out. And one important aspect of the job of the region advisor is to be able to do conflict resolutions. Like past region advisor Essie said, conflicts will arise, and you have to be able to help guide the team through that so they can stay focused on their plan or on their district goals. And I believe to be able to be proficient in conflict resolutions, the value of respect must be high in our character, must be visible. People have to respect, you have to show respect so people can trust you, and trust you also through that conflict resolution process. What are the qualifications in order to be able to apply for region advisor? You have to be a member of a club in good standing for 12 or more consecutive months. You must have served as an immediate past district director. So you have to finish your year as district director, or else you cannot apply for the position. You even have to finish that year of immediate past district director. You must have served in two of the three trio positions. Of course, you must be available for training and travel as needed. You must be reachable via internet service, and you must, when applying, you must send in a video, a recording of you giving a training session with a live audience. After your application is received, you will go through a pre-screen interview. You will be assessed by your peers. The Toastmaster International will send out assessment forms for persons throughout the district with whom you have served during the years, from club growth director all the way up to immediate past district director. And these persons will assess you based on several important areas. After you pass the pre-screen interview, you will be invited to an assessment interview where the committee will assess your skills based on the competencies related to the position of region advisor. And then you will know. It's a long wait, almost 3 months, but then you will know if you have been assigned or not. I have to say that for me, it's an honor to have been appointed region advisor for Region 8. Serving 8 districts is a big responsibility. If you consider serving as a district director, I had 26 countries comprising District 81 when I was serving. It wasn't easy. You have to remember that most persons you can't see. It's only once a year at the convention or at the conference, the Caribbean conference, that you will meet most of your team members. Even the trio, you will see maybe twice or 3 times a year. And you have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to listen. You have to be able to understand. Essie said you have to be patient. I don't think Essie stressed enough how much patience you have to have. But most important to me, and I want to share this with the persons listening to us at this moment, you must realize that you are learning as well. It's not that you are the best member ever, the best leader ever, and they elected you in the position. People entrusted you as a leader. And going into that office, it's a growth opportunity that you have. So be open for that learning moment. Consider when you're wrong. Be kind when you're right. And most importantly, at the end of the day, on July 1st, you're just a member again. Remember that it will end. You will be a member. There will be other leaders. In fact, I remember the moment that the last conference in Haiti, the moment that the next district director was elected, my emails dropped to half. And then on July 1st, you will notice that no one is sending you emails or text messages anymore. And you still must be able to look to the member and speak to that person with the same humility, because it's an experience. And going into every office, that's how I believe that's the biggest asset that I had, that gave me the opportunity to grow. And I'm very grateful that the members understood that as well. I've had the opportunity to know amazing people in District 81. And those persons at some point in time became my mentors. I've learned from them. I've gone to, I believe, every past district governor and district director for advice. And at the end of the day, I realized I'm the one that has to take a decision.
Right.
But because of that experience that was shared with me, I was able to give the best back to District 81 and to my team. I'm very grateful for that opportunity.
Well, thank you, DTM Godalys. And you actually echoed very strongly what DTM Essie was saying about the importance of mentorship, even in your own personal experience. And both of you have mentioned the importance of some form of the succession planning for District 81. And that was actually a question that came in terms of the development of an official succession plan for District 81. What are your thoughts on that one?
Look, I believe we have a good base. District 81, let me say it like this. In my year as district director, I believe everyone saw what happened. Okay? That succession plan changed abruptly, and it was force majeure. So it wasn't something we could do anything about. For those in the audience that don't know, we had two persons, one on the trio and the PRM passing away in that same year. So we missed one step. Okay? That means that you have to be able to train the persons following in more areas, because in our case, it was the club road director going for district director, and she didn't get the opportunity to experience the PQD. We had persons coming, two new persons coming in the trio that will put extra stress on the district director, because now he has to coach two persons. Okay? Thank God, all of the persons on the trio did their best to serve to the best of their abilities. But it's not ideal. In my case, going through the ranks gave me the opportunity to understand better what it takes to be a club road director, what challenges the program quality director may be having, and I was able to better support them. Now, the bylaws allow the opportunity for persons that didn't go through the ranks, but they qualify to be able to run for the position. That's, I believe, the bylaws have to be respected. And it's the job of the district leadership committee to put forward the best persons based on the qualifications of the role as a candidate for the position. Okay? I've seen districts where the club grow director wasn't strong enough, for instance, to continue for PQD. So the person was not put forward, or I've seen other instances where the person was even asked to resign. So things happen, but I believe that whatever decision is made, it has to be on the basis of what is best for the district. If the persons that are put forward by the district leadership committee qualify for the position for which they're running. So the district leadership committee has an important role in selecting the best candidates for the position, and it has to be said, sometimes that person will come from the rank, sometimes that person won't. I don't envy the district leadership committee.
Right.
Because I know it's a very tough job.
Well, thank you for that, DTM Godalys. It is 7:28. For those of you who are joining us or joined us after we started, we did say we would give ourselves a 15-minute grace period to go to 7:45, because, you know, if this discussion is as juicy as it is right now and you have more questions and comments, that is an opportunity to ask. So very quickly, I will ask our division, the director, Kimberly, to just take a quick poll, and let's see if people would like to continue the conversation, because I do have a few more things I would love to ask our esteemed panelists. Now we have them, and, you know, most of us are in some form of curfew or lockdown, so we have time, I'm thinking. But I also wanted to share, you will see into the chat, the SurveyMonkey link. So please click on that link and give us some feedback. The evaluation form is quick and easy. It is about 3 minutes, if so much. And of course, one of the questions is whether, you know, you found this webinar helpful, and if there are future topics you'd like for us to explore, because we feel that these types of webinars are extremely important for our district. And it's great to have Aruba joining us. So as we look at the members from all over the district who have joined us, we have several countries here, and that is fantastic. I also believe that there may be some from Barbados, but they may be on watch parties. I've been trying to click in and see what's happening and get some feedback from people. So thank you all for joining. And we've been having a fantastic discussion on elections and leadership in Toastmasters beyond our clubs. And it's been interesting to hear the growth for both our distinguished panelists, DTM Essie and DTM Godalys, and the fact that this leadership has benefited them professionally and not just within the Toastmasters realm, which is something that is very important for people to understand. When you're a Toastmaster, you don't just exist in a bubble. But what we learn here is something that we should be able to take and spread in every aspect of our life. I also like the fact that there's specific skills that we learn, and there's some specific soft skills, just listening to DTM Godalys speak, even of her experience and the things that she was able to bring into her new role as Region 8 advisor. And one of those was conflict resolution, which I thought was interesting, because when DTM Essie was speaking, you mentioned the fact that the area directors are appointed. And sometimes people feel like that creates a risk in terms of what happens if there's conflict. So of course the question for both of you very quickly as we take our poll at 7:31 and hopefully everybody will stay is mediation and conflict resolution and the importance of that within leadership. So DTM Godalys, as the region advisor, you play a part in that, but how does that all filter right down throughout, even to area directors, division directors, and then of course right through to district leadership? So I'm throwing that out there, mediation. And maybe DTM Godalys, you could start, and then DTM Essie, maybe you can share your experience.
Sure, DTM Annick. I believe first thing we have to understand is that conflict is part of life. Okay? It's very easy to see conflict as a personal attack. But if we are not able to take a step back and try to look at the big picture, it will become difficult in terms of solving conflict. Conflict can start or can present itself in any level of every organization. And Toastmaster is not an exception. So Toastmasters is not an exception. So Toastmasters has created several materials, training materials for our members and our leaders in order to train important conflict resolution skills. I believe that being able to sit with people, especially when recognizing when the time is right to do conflict resolution or mediation, recognizing when the time is right, sitting with people, bringing people together in terms of what they have in common, their commonalities, and then move forward with how we can reach consensus on on our differences is very important. I would recommend every member to do that. In fact, for conflict resolutions to be effective, I believe that sticking at the issue at hand instead of diving into what happened, who said what, and trying to choose parties is the best approach. That's what I've learned in my experiences, and that's what I try to share also with people around me in order to be able to be effective in conflict resolution situations.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And the quick poll has been taken and they are staying with us for our 15 minutes. Yay! That means we're having a really good discussion. So over to you, DTM Essie, to share from your end.
Let me share an experience that while I was regional advisor, I supervised 5 districts. There were conflicts in every single district. And conflict does not necessarily mean people to people. One of the districts I supervise actually speaks another language, a language which I do not know, but I was sent to that district to work out, to mediate. Thankfully, it worked, but it's because Toastmasters has offered the training that was able to put me in a position to look at, as Godalys said, issues, not choose sides. One of the things that we need to understand as leaders is that we have to have thick skins, so to speak. There are going to be times when people will hurt and they will hit out. But as a leader, your job is to see beyond that, to focus on the issue at hand, try to find middle ground, find the areas that we can agree on and build from that. Then you go in private, or if you have your own people who you can go to for solace and you lick your wounds, know that tomorrow that very same person who hit out at you might very well not be in that same state of mind. So conflict happens. Toastmasters provide some training, but as leaders, we have to take it on and apply to individual situations. What works for one district does not necessarily work for the other. But you have to look at them, look at the issue at hand, and come to common ground. it leaves you as a leader a stronger person, but it also leaves you in a position where you can shield yourself from some of the attacks and still just deal with what's happening.
Okay, and I think that's very important as a note, just even for people who are in club leadership, the importance of having a thick skin and separating the person from what is the actual issue. And it's going to be interesting for us, and I love this question because, as I mentioned earlier, we're locked down and curfew. It's been a little flippant about it, but we understand the situation with COVID-19 and the ramification, the impact it has had globally. And for us as Toastmasters, we've had to learn to quickly adapt. So what do you see, and I'll start with you, DTM Essie, or what would you share as critical advice for leadership in this particular time? Because we've seen the impact on our meetings, going online, the impact of not having our district conference this year. What advice do you have for leadership in a situation that's unheard of for all of us, I'm guessing, right now?
Okay, I was in one of my club meetings, I believe it might have been last week, and it was a Toastmaster who spoke about she says it shouldn't be expect the unexpected, but accept the unexpected. Because we are in uncharted waters, and as leaders, we have to be able to think quickly. We have to be very nimble. We have to be able to respond because others are looking to us for leadership. And if we throw our hands in the air and start quaking, then our team will not be able to rely on us. They will see us quaking and they too will quake. So as leaders, we need to make sure that we are well informed and that we filter how we speak and how we act, because persons are looking to us for leadership. Right. So be very nimble, be aware, and make sure that you take your team into consideration whenever you act or say anything.
And it's interesting too, because I'm going to skew this question slightly different for you, DTM Godalys, because we're looking at it now from Toastmasters International and the fact that they are also dealing with it, and how are they supporting, or how do they support our district leadership?
I think Toastmasters International is doing a great job in providing guidance and resources to the district leadership in a timely manner. As region advisor, I'm very close to the world headquarters, so I can see firsthand what is being provided to the leadership of the several districts in terms of material, in terms of guidelines, how to continue supporting the clubs and the members throughout these times. But I want to share with you and the audience, DTM Annick, an advice that the new team of region advisor received from our international president, Deepak Menon. And he gave us 5 points to think of during these difficult times. And I see these points very valid, not only in Toastmasters, but in our personal and professional lives as well. First, remain tranquil, be calm, because only by being calm we can see clearly and we can think of possibilities on how to move forward and how to adapt. Be resilient. We know as Caribbean Toastmasters, we are resilient people. Being resilient and being able to take bold decisions will help us also to move forward. Be flexible, stay adaptive, and be creative. Think outside the box. What else can we do in order to make use of the opportunities that presents themselves in these unprecedented times? Show compassion. Many members are dealing with so many fear, so many uncertainties during these times. They want to be listened to, and they want to be sure that their leaders are willing to listen. And by listening, we will also be able to give them encouragement. And last but not least, provide kudos. Give recognition to people that, despite these difficult times, are still working and achieving. And I'm very glad to see how District 81 has already started giving recognition to those clubs that, despite these difficult times, are moving forward and are working with their members with their sights set on a higher level of excellence. So that's what I would like to share with you.
Thank you very much. And I think that that is a fantastic way for us to wrap up this session, because I think that is in essence what every one of us are going to do at every level of leadership, from the club and beyond. And kudos to you and DTM Essie for spending the time and sharing with our membership. I think there was a lot that we learned. I learned personally, and I'm sure everyone else has learned as well. And I have to mention kudos to all of the Toastmasters all around the region who joined us. You all are awesome. And I had specific instructions not to forget Trinidad and Tobago in the house. So big up Trinidad. Big up the Trinis. Thank you all for joining with all of the other countries that I mentioned earlier. And of course, I want to end with a few words from our district director, Fabiola, who has been listening intently. So Fabiola, if you could just share a few words with us as we get ready to wrap up our session. Oh, wait, we have to unmute.
All right. Thank you so much. And a big thanks to Division B, Division Director Kimberly, and you yourself for pulling this off, because it has been a tremendous hour and a half of information, and very plainly put. Great job for our past district directors, Essie, DTM Essie, and DTM Godalys, our incoming RA. Perfect. And I hope that a lot of the faces on here already nominated themselves, so now they start getting into the position. So we will get great leaders for the incoming year. Thank you so much for taking this on and helping us to understand more about this leadership and the elections. Back to you.
Thank you much. Thank you very much, Madam District Director, for your support as always. And everyone, this is the way technology is allowing us to see people we've never seen before, talk to people, and have a really good discourse across the waters. And hopefully at some point we will be able to see each other in person. Please do not forget to send your feedback you have the link for the evaluation in the chat, and that will be open until next week, Monday. So give us feedback, because who knows what will come up in the future. We always have ideas in our pockets. Again, special thanks to Division Director Kimberly for controlling everything in the back and make sure I got all the questions and comments. Thank you all from our district leadership for being here with us. Thank you to our panelists, Essie and Godalys, and thank you all for being here. It has been fabulous, and have a wonderful night. Be safe, everybody, and we will see you hopefully sometime in the future with another webinar. Bye.
Bye.